Hey guys, welcome to part two. So we know one thing for sure. Clarity is kindness. Confusion is going to create that tension. So we know most conflicts, they don't start because people are trying to be mean. It starts because people are unclear. They're unclear on the expectations, they're unclear on the instructions, and honestly, they're just unclear in the tone. And overall, they're just unclear with the follow through. So when people don't know what you mean, they start guessing. And usually they're guessing wrong. That's when that frustration shows up. Now, this is where our 7 C's are going to come into play. And we're going to look at why it matters. If you want strong relationships, good teamwork, and effective leadership, you have to have good communication, and you have to communicate in a way that people are actually going to be able to understand and trust. Good communication, it's not about sounding smart or hip, okay? It's about being understood. The 7 C's are going to give us a framework for how to do that consistently. Alrighty guys, so let's go ahead and take a look at our 7 C's. We're going to walk through them, and I want you to remember these are habits and not just concepts. You practice them every time you send a message or give feedback, or maybe when you're leading a conversation. So our 7 C's are going to be clear, concise, concrete, correct, coherent, complete, and courteous. If even one of these is missing, communication is going to start to break down. Alrighty, so let's go in and let's break them down. Let's start with clear. Clear just means what you actually mean. Don't give any hints about it, right? Don't beat around the bush. Don't give vague comments, and don't hope people will just figure it out, because they're not. When we are giving clear messages, it's going to sound something like this. This is exactly what I need, X, Y, and Z. This is the deadline. Be specific with that deadline. And this is the expectation, and give them that expectation. Now, unclear messages, which we're all guilty of doing, kind of come off like, oh, whenever you get to it, try your best, or let's get there soon. Those are going to create confusion because people don't really know exactly what you're asking of them. So you have to be clear in what you need from them. All right, now let's take a look at concise. Concise just means you don't want to blur your points. So some people talk in circles before they actually get to the message, and by that time, people who are listening or should be listening have already checked out. Concise means get to the point and respect people's time. Now, looking at concrete, that just means specific, not general, not vague, and of course, not emotional. Concrete sounds like giving 3 examples, or saying Friday at 3 p.m., or I need a 2-page summary. Vague is going to sound something like a lot, or soon, or by Friday. People can't act on vague. They need concrete directions. So now let's take a look at correct. Correct just means accurate, right? So facts do matter, details matter, and dates matter, and the names matter. When information goes wrong, trust starts to break down. Even small errors make people start questioning everything, and we don't want that. So now let's take a look at complete. And complete just means you're not leaving any gaps. So answer the questions people are naturally going to have. So the who, what, when, where, and how. If you leave one thing out, you're leaving people to guess, to fill in the blanks themselves. And that's usually where the problems are going to come into play. Now let's take a look at coherent, which just means organized. So your message should make sense from start to finish, not jumping around, not mixing topics, and not rambling. If people have to work hard to try to follow along with what you're saying, they're going to stop listening. Now let's take a look at courteous. And we know that just means your tone is going to build trust. So you can be honest and still be respectful. You can be firm and still be kind. Tone determines how your message is going to be received. Some messages may sound a little harsh, and that's because of your tone. So you need to be courteous when you are giving your messages. You could have the same message, have two different tones. They're going to come off completely different. Your tone is going to make that difference in how it's going to be received. So be courteous when you are giving your messages. Now let's put it together, okay? Strong communicators, they use all 7 at once. They are clear and kind, direct and respectful, specific and supportive. That's what builds your credibility. And your credibility is really all you have that people can go on and trust. It's basically you walking the walk and talking the talk, right? That's what you're doing with these 7 C's. Now it's time to practice. I'm going to give you a vague message. It's your job to use the 7 C's and rewrite it. Here's the original message. We need to do better with deadlines. I want you to take a moment, think about what's unclear, what's missing, and what's vague. Pause the video here. Alrighty, I hope you had time to rewrite that. Now let's take a look at one of the rewritten versions. Starting next week, all reports must be submitted by Friday at 3 p.m. This helps the team stay aligned. You notice the difference? It was clear, specific, organized, respectful, and it explained why. There's no guessing, no confusion, and no tension. Now, let's talk about what you noticed from that exercise. Most of you probably already kind of realized this. When you make something clear, it feels easier. It feels calmer. It feels fairer. And it overall just feels more professional. Clarity is going to reduce conflict before it even starts. You don't have to clean up misunderstandings later if communicated well at the beginning. That's going to save you time, stress, and relationships. So I want you to think about how many arguments you have been in, and they started with, "That's not what I meant," or "That's not what you said," or "I didn't know that." Those are clarity problems, and that's where the 7 C's are going to come into play and help you prevent them. So the next time you are writing an email or sending a text message or maybe having a little tiff with one of your friends or significant others, remember the 7 C's and practice them daily. When you are able to use them effectively, your communication is going to get clearer and people are going to trust you and ultimately have more respect for you because you know how to communicate clearly. Thank you for joining us for this session. Next week, we are going to look at emotional intelligence and listening and how the 7 C's are going to play into that as well. Please like, subscribe, and share. And make sure that you go to our website and you download the free workbook. A new workbook is dropping next week because it is going to follow along in with these 7 C's and emotional intelligence and listening. So be on the lookout for that. Anyways, guys, have a great week, and I will see you next Tuesday.